You can catch me in the cherry red 150. Ooh. Got the grizzly locked in the stizzy. Pop the glizzy doing 60 down a one wizzy. Drunk pissy. Trying to cruise through the avenue.
YouTube, what it is, what's happening, boxing, YouTube, universe, bow, nocturnal thoughts, what it is, man, what's happening. Look, I had to put this little quick intro on my song because I heard Big Pun and it just almost made me shed a tear. That song impacted me when he first passed away. That song came out and it was like listening to those lyrics. He was right there on the verge of changing his life around. So that always stuck with me. And whenever I hear this song, it just, resonates. So go check out Big Pun if you're a young cat. If you're my age, you already know. So let me retract and correct myself with the Rougarou Regis Prograis. He did get picked up by Triller. I think he's operating like a free agent after he, cut ties with Lou DiBella. And I think he might just be doing a one-off with Triller when he got picked up to fight Ivan Redkach. For some reason, because I've been ingesting in so much information, sometimes it comes out, all at once. But I was thinking he was on the same card as, Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos and this Mike Tyson Holyfield possible fight. But actually, he's on the April 17th card fighting against Ivan Redkach. And he's doing a combination fight with the Magic Man, Antonio Tarver, the infamous, or famous, should I say famous, for the first man to whoop, what's my man's name? Roy Jones Jr.'s ass. First man to knock Roy Jones Jr. out, and the first man to come back and whoop his ass again for the third fight. Antonio Tarver, the Magic Man, is fighting the Frank Mir. Frank Mir is famous for the first person to put a leg lock on Brock Lesnar, and he's also infamous for being one of the first victims of Brock Lesnar just getting his face pummeled into a pope in their first rematch, or they only had one rematch. When Brock Lesnar rematched Frank Mir, and he had him in that little, clinch, and he just was doing those little quick rabbit punches, the effects on Frank Mir's face. But Frank Mir went on to have a great career. He was one of the most versatile heavyweights in UFC at the time I used to watch it. And I haven't seen Frank Mir and what kind of shape he's in and what he's been doing for a long time. And then also, Ivan Redkach and Regis Prograis is fighting on the card with Jake Paul and Benjamin Askren. I don't know too much about Benjamin Askren. I was watching a little bit of Chael Sonnen, you know what I'm talking about. And he was talking about how, he's going to go with the competitor versus the guy that's been, focusing on boxing. So he's not giving Jake Paul too much of a chance. So that's going to be on April 17th. Jake Paul versus Benjamin Askren. I see wrestler background, MMA, Bellator fighter. I don't know too. I've seen him before, but I'm not too familiar with him. Jake Paul just knocked out Nate Robinson. So we're going to see where at least he's fighting a real fighter. You know what I'm saying? And not a basketball player or a rapper or something like that. So anyways, down to the point of this video, which there's really no point. I just wanted to unload some boxing topics that I have been watching today. Showbizz the Adult against Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas came out with a tweet talking about Canelo, pretty much Yildirim being a punching bag for Canelo. And Showbiz came out, gave all credit where credit is due to Teddy Atlas for being a legend. We all know Teddy Atlas is one of the masterminds behind Mike Tyson. You know, one thing I disagree with Teddy Atlas was Teddy Atlas said Mike Tyson's real true record was 0-5, or 0 wins and 5 losses or something like that. But Teddy Atlas knows Mike Tyson better than I would ever know him. I mean, he's seen this, big 210, 15-pound pit bull break down into tears before every fight. He had to, build him back up and reassure him of his ability. So Teddy Atlas knows Mike Tyson better than I know Mike Tyson. That's off subject. Teddy Atlas is a legend. He trained so many legends. Michael Moore, he trained them all. He's a legend. Showbiz doesn't step on that fact. But he disagreed with Canelo versus Yildirim, and Teddy Atlas's assessment of him fighting an easy fight. And here's the thing. I agree and I disagree as usual. I find the balance, but I found it interesting. that Showbiz the adult, he brought up Sugar Ray Leonard. After Sugar Ray Leonard had a tough fight against the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran, he took an easy fight with Larry Bond. After Sugar Ray Leonard had a tough fight with Thomas Hitman Hearns, he took an easy fight with Bruce Finch. He said, Bruce Finch. You know how Showbiz is. Who? That one guy that did that one thing that one time. And he went on to also say Muhammad Ali. After Muhammad Ali fought Big George Foreman, he took an easy fight with Chuck Webner. Now, Chuck Webner is famous for, inspiring for Sylvester Stallone to make the Rocky Balboa fights. Now, Chuck Webner wasn't a punk. He actually knocked down Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? And he went on to fight bears and all kinds of things. He got a couple of movies on Netflix. Two versions of his story on Netflix. Go check them out, Chuck Webner. But then also, he went on to compare Muhammad Ali after he did the Thriller in Manila with Smoking Joe Frazier. He went and fought Sean Pierre Koopman. I don't know who that is. That one guy that did that one thing that one time. I don't know who that is. And he made good points. Showbiz the adult always makes good points. When you watch Showbiz the adult, get your paper and pencils out. When you go to, some of these other platforms like Boxing Bros, like Punch Drunk, like Killertainment, Troy Kings, get your paper and pencil out. When you come to this channel, man, it's recess, it's gym time. It's time to get your physical on. You dig what I'm saying? But we all grow in different ways, and at the end of the day, it takes all of it. A huge conglomeration of this boxing, the physical, the spiritual, the history, the present, the past, etc. I digress. But here's why I not disagree with Showbiz, but this is what inspired my thought. Was, you had Sugar Ray Leonard fight a tough Roberto Duran and then come back and he fought, Larry Bond. Yeah, you had Sugar Ray Leonard fight Thomas the Hitman Hearns and come back and fought Bruce Finch. Yeah, you had Muhammad Ali fight a tough fight with Big George Foreman and come take an easy fight with Chuck Webner or Sean Pierre Koopman. I can't remember which order. I think it was after he fought, the Thriller in Manila, he fought Sean Pierre Koopman. Chuck Webner was after George Foreman, I believe. I'm not 100%. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. And he compared that to Canelo taking a soft touch. And he also, because I made a point on Canelo having his fights lined up like this, these predated fights with these, opponents already picked out. And he compared that to like a Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield and Buster Douglas coming in and throwing a wrench into the game. Now, my point is this. The only difference to me is Canelo Alvarez is showing a pattern you know what I'm saying? And it kind of starts with Sergey Kovalev. Because, you know, in my opinion, I could never give Canelo 100% credit for Sergey Kovalev because we knew that, not that he was paid to lay down like Yildirim, but he was coming off of a tough fight against a tough Anthony Yard. And he, you know, was boom, right back in the training camp. And we see what the back-to-back training camps and the tough fights do. So it was a kind of like, I don't want to say a catch-22, but to me, you've seen a few little angles there that I didn't want to see in a fight with Canelo. But that was, you give him a pass. You stepping up in weight. Sergey Kovalev is still world class. He still fought, you know what I'm saying, the Andre Wards of the world. He still fought the Anthony Yard of the world. So you give him his credit. Give him his just due. But then, you know, Caleb Smith. Now, I don't know too much about Caleb Smith. I would be lying if I said I knew all the history on Caleb Smith. I would have to go back and look at his career. He looked something like a competitor to me, but him in the ring against Canelo, he didn't show much. He really didn't show much of a adversity, you know what I'm saying? Not that he was as easy as a Yildirim, but he didn't show that he, you know what I'm saying, he just had the height, he had the reach, but he didn't take advantage of any of those things. And then from Caleb Smith, he goes, and I gave him full credit for Caleb Smith just because of my ignorance. I don't know who Caleb Smith is to do the research on. They fought for, you know what I'm saying, the vacant WBC. So here we go with Yildirim. Now, that to me shows a little bit of a pattern of him not fighting. You can't take away anything from Canelo, but I'm just saying Roberto Duran, Larry Bond is not the same as fighting a tenderized version of Kovalev, then jumping into a Smith, Caleb Smith, who also to me was somewhat of a, I don't even know the words. I just know Canelo looked very impressive and Caleb Smith didn't look impressive to me at all, especially with his attributes. And then you jump into the fight with Yildirim, who no mas, who was, you know what I'm saying, basically came in to, like you said, came in to lay down. And then we look at his next fight, which is creating some type of opposition with Billy Joe Saunders, but we kind of know what Billy Joe Saunders is. And I don't think he is what they want to build him up to be. Not that I can take away anything from Billy Joe Saunders. I think his resume is better than Jamar Charlo, but I don't think he's a taker like Jamar Charlo is. I don't think he has it in his bloodline, in his genetics, to be a lion like Jamar Charlo. But we're not going to go down the Jamar Charlo route because I'm going to be honest with you on this video. I'm going to just be honest with you. Boo Boo Andrade, Jamar Charlo, David Benavidez, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. In my opinion, right now, I think Canelo gets all of them. I wish he would fight all of them, but he can't fight everybody. So still, I give him his credit, but I don't just see the intervals of him fighting high competition, then low competition. To me, he's fighting medium to low competition consistently in a pattern. Nocturnal thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Respect, 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 respect. Also, Canelo said that Mexican fighters do not get credit from Mexico fans. Or Mexican fans are not supporting Mexican fighters. And I watched another video from USA Media Today. I can't remember his name correctly. I'm just now new to his channel. But he came out with the Anthony Joshua is the $140 million man. And why is Joshua so famous and so big? And he's bigger than Canelo. And he kept comparing that to Deontay Wilder. Why don't Americans support American fighters? UK just got better fans all around, period, point blank. period. UK just got better fans. They don't have the same mentality as people in the United States that just have a totally different mentality where they don't want to see anybody get their credit. All they want to do is build somebody up, tear them down, and then kick them while they're down. And that's not a global thing. That's a United States thing. And that's why I understand where Canelo is coming from. But that's another video, another subject for another day. This is Nocturnal Thoughts. Bow. Salute. Peace.